if you are listening to the Six Figure Brand podcast, then there's a good chance that you're thinking about rebranding sometime in the future in your business, whether that's next week, next month, 6 months from now, or even next year. And that's awesome. Rebranding is super fun and super exciting. And it usually marks kind of a new chapter in your business, which feels like a big accomplishment and is something to get pumped for. But before you dive into choosing colors, hiring a designer, building a Pinterest board, going down a rabbit hole of what fonts you like on Creative Market, there are a few things that I want you to do first. I have been a part of a lot of successful rebrands and a few unsuccessful ones, and I have narrowed down 4 things that really make the difference of whether or not a rebrand is going to be successful or not. Validating your offers, talking to your audience, setting intentional goals, and getting clear on your brand strategy. Because the truth is that the best branding starts before the Pinterest board. So if you want your next brand to feel aligned, strategic, and actually support growth in your business, you're going to want to listen to this episode. Welcome to the Six Figure Brand podcast, where each week we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to build a six-figure business as an online service provider. I'm your host, Morgan. I'm a branding expert, online agency owner, mom of 2, and military spouse, and I'm obsessed with helping entrepreneurs like you understand the ins and outs of branding so that you can use it to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. Whether you're just starting out or focused on scaling, we're diving into everything you need to build a profitable and sustainable online business. Let's get to it. If you're thinking about rebranding your business, then congratulations. This is a really, really exciting time for you. And I'm sure that you are super pumped to have a fresh new look, feel, website, colors, fonts, logo, photos, all the things. And I love that for you. And I want to encourage you to take a quick pause before you start on your Pinterest board. A strong strategic brand does not start with visuals. It starts with clarity around your offers, your people, your goals, and your strategy. That is really what makes your visuals powerful, and it's not the other way around. You cannot start with visuals and expect to have a successful rebrand that is going to actually help drive growth in your business. So today we're going to talk through the 4 things that I encourage my clients to do before we dive into their rebrand. Those are going to be validating your offers, talking to your audience, defining your goals for both your business and your rebrand, and nailing your brand strategy. So number 1, validate your offers. This seems like kind of a no-brainer, but you would be shocked how many people I talk to that are like, oh, I need a rebrand and that's going to fix everything in my business. And then I ask them, well, what are your offers and how many of them have you sold? And the answers they give me are not ideal. Your offers are the core of your business. Everything else is built around them. A business exists to sell a product. If you're a service business, your offers are your product. No matter how beautiful your brand is, it's not going to fix a misaligned offer suite. If your offers are not selling, the problem might be branding, but truthfully, it's probably not. It's probably clarity around what your audience needs, your positioning, maybe even your price point. But you need to do a lot of work really nailing your offers before you can hope to have a rebrand amplify the work that you've done there. So validating your offers looks like having sold an offer multiple times, seeing it actually deliver results for your clients, having testimonials or feedback to pull from for sales pages and social content and things like that, and feeling really confident talking about it. Like you can very clearly say, okay, here is the thing I offer, here's who it's for, here's how it's going to change your life, and here's why you should buy it. And not being in a place where you're like, well, I don't really know how to explain it. It's still kind of evolving and you're always tweaking how you're talking about these things. A really common trap that people fall into is that they rush to rebrand hoping that it's going to fix their business, when the real issue is that their offers just aren't nailed down yet. So instead, prioritize getting proof of concept before investing in a full rebrand. You can start with a DIY brand if you need it and just get something that's good enough and start selling your thing. Then revisit branding after you've worked with even just like 5 clients, but enough to gain real insight over, is there a market demand for this? Are people getting the results that I'm hoping that they get with this offer? And do they want it and love it? The second thing that I wish that you would do before you start your rebrand is talk to your audience. And again, some of you are probably listening thinking, well, duh, Morgan, but you would be shocked how many people never ask for client feedback or never talk to their followers on social media and just are really living in a vacuum and not knowing what their audience needs from them or what their clients love about working with them and what things we need to really accentuate in your rebrand. I want to imagine yourself standing on one side of a canyon and your clients standing on the other side of the canyon. Your brand is the bridge that is going to get you across to that other side. It allows you to walk across to their side and tell them, hey, I know what I'm talking about and I'm the person to help you. And it also allows them to walk over to your side and say, hey, I would like to learn more about your services and hire you, which is what we want when we're running a business, right? Building a brand without insight from your audience is a guessing game. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall and money down the drain. And you really cannot create that brand recognition and resonance if you don't understand what your people are thinking and feeling and needing. So I get clients coming to me saying, oh my gosh, I read your website and I feel like you were talking directly to me. And I always laugh in my head because I'm thinking, well, I was talking directly to you because I spent so much time doing market research and talking to clients and knowing exactly what they're thinking and feeling when they're at that stage that they're ready to finally pull the trigger on brand strategy and design. So some things that you can ask, and I would refer you to episode 7 of the 6-Figure Brand Podcast, where I do a really deep dive on using client feedback in your business. But a couple like high-level questions to ask, or maybe themes to focus on here are, what are their biggest pain points before they hire you? What makes them maybe hesitant to invest in support? So where have they maybe been burned by another service provider before? What are they unsure about? And then what changed for them after working for you? If you can get them actually speaking, so doing this with either on a Zoom call or voice notes or something like that, that would be ideal. But even Instagram DMs or a survey or whatever you can get is fine. But like I said, if we're trying to work their actual language into your messaging, the best way to do that is just to get them talking and listening to exactly what they're saying, what words are they using. This matters so much for branding because their language and their insights are a goldmine when it comes to really crafting your messaging and building a brand that draws in those ideal clients and converts them, because you are literally building it for them. The third thing that I wish that you would do before you start your rebrand is define your goals. So this gets a little missed a little bit because a lot of people treat a rebrand as like a reward. Like it's the thing at the top of the mountain that they're working towards and they finally got there and it's like their victory lap, which is awesome, except for the fact that you're spending so much time kind of sitting down and being like, oh man, I did it. And now I get to have a beautiful new brand, that you're not thinking enough about the future and where you're hoping that this brand will get you. Building your brand without goals and a direction defined leads to decision fatigue, wasted money, visuals that are going to feel off and not authentic to you anymore in 6 months. And you're just going to get stuck in this hamster wheel of feeling like you constantly need to rebrand and nothing is really ever right because you haven't defined why you're doing it. So there's 2 layers of goals that I encourage my clients to think about. Number 1 is business goals. Where do you want your business to be in the next 1 to 3 years? I firmly believe that if you invest money in a rebrand, you should not need to do that again for a bare minimum. I would say 3 years, but like 5 plus, maybe even into 10 years if you're doing it right. So if you rebrand and then a year from now, you're like, oh, my goals have changed, I need to rebrand again. That's a big, big problem. And that's something that you should have thought about before you rebranded in the first place. So where are we going? Big picture. Where do we want to be in the next 1 to 3 to 5 years? And then goals specifically for your rebrand. So are you doing a rebrand because your audience has changed and you want to align more with your new audience? Do you feel like you have evolved as a business owner and you're trying to find more alignment in that respect? Are you trying to maybe transition from a solopreneur model to an agency model? Why are you doing this rebrand? What are you hoping to achieve? Is it just that you want to feel more confident and put together on the internet? Is it that, maybe you're sick of spending so much time in Canva trying to figure out what the heck to design? Those are all valid things, but I think taking the time to write down, okay, here are the problems I'm hoping to solve with this rebrand is really helpful, because then when it's done, you have a measure of success. Did it work? If you don't set goals prior to your rebrand, then there's a good chance that you're probably rebranding for the wrong reason. Like you're bored or you're feeling pressure or you just don't know what else to do. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, you're looking for a rebrand to, quote, fix your business. And I'm sorry to tell you, but a pretty brand usually doesn't move the needle in your business on its own. It does when it's part of a larger ecosystem that is really goals oriented and very strategically thought out. So take some time to journal, voice note, doodle, sketch, whatever medium you like, where you want your business to go in the next several years and what role is your new brand going to play in that. And these goals kind of become guideposts for yourself. If you're DIYing, you're a designer, your brand strategist, your web strategist, your copywriter, anyone that you're working with through this rebrand process. And finally, nail your brand strategy. So your strategy is the foundation for everything you do. It's not an optional add-on. It's not like some box you have to check first. It is the thing that's going to make your rebrand successful. Without clear brand strategy, your visuals are really just decorations. And like I've said already, you're going to outgrow them quickly and you will feel like they're not actually doing anything in your business and you just wasted a bunch of money on a rebrand for nothing. And that's not what I want to see. So brand strategy is going to include purpose, mission, vision, values, what is really the meat and potatoes of your brand. It's also going to include an ideal client analysis, looking at your audience and figuring out where do you fit within the marketplace and your industry and how to position yourself as the best option for what you do. And then you're going to want to dive into your brand story. How did you get here? Your brand voice. How do you sound? How do you talk? And your overall client experience that you want to create. All of this is going to be the glue that connects all of the pieces of your rebrand. So whether that's just visual identity like logos and colors, a website, copy, social media, maybe you're getting a photo shoot done. Your brand strategy is the thread that you're going to want to weave through all of those things to make sure that they actually fit together and make sense. If you don't have that, then you're kind of doing all these bits and pieces in a silo, and then you will put them all together and be like, well, this doesn't make any sense. And again, I want you to rebrand smartly and strategically, and this is how you do that. So I always recommend working through the Standout Brand Foundations workbook. If you're kind of more in a DIY stage, or as a podcast listener, you do get $100 off of a standout brand strategy session. So I can help you one-on-one with all of this stuff to really build that foundation before you hire a designer. If you skip this step, I can all but guarantee that in 6 to 18 months, you're going to be right back to square one, wanting to rebrand again and wondering why didn't it work last time. And that is really expensive, really exhausting, and totally avoidable. So to recap, before you build a Pinterest board, before you hire a designer, before you open Canva, before any of that, validate your offers, talk to your audience, set goals, and nail down your brand strategy. You don't need to have everything figured out, but you do need to slow down and do these 4 things so that your rebrand feels aligned, sustainable, and so that it's effective, so that it actually grows your business. I can't tell you how much it breaks my heart when I get on discovery calls with people that say, I invested $2,000 or $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 last year in my brand, and it's just not working for us. And the reason why is because they didn't do all of these things beforehand. And that really sucks because now you've wasted a lot of time and a lot of money and it's no longer a fun thing anymore. It's really discouraging and it feels like just like something else that you have to add to your plate. So I don't want you to do that. And this is how you avoid getting kind of stuck in that cycle. So again, grab the Standout Brand Foundations workbook, book a brand strategy session, go binge some podcast content. There are so many resources that I have to help you with all of this. And if you are considering rebranding and you just are like, I don't know where to start, I have a million questions, DM me on Instagram and let's chat about it. Thanks for tuning in to the 6-Figure Brand Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to rate the show and leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. And as a thank you, I'll send you coffee on me. Yes, I'm serious. As a smaller show for now, you taking the time to do this makes a huge impact on how we can reach more people and how I can continue to create this content for free. When you take a screenshot of your review, follow and tag me on Instagram at @SpectandCo. I'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. As always, don't forget to check out the show notes for any links or resources I mentioned during the episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week.